Hi guys. Today we're going to be talking about how all animals deserve a chance no matter if they're from an animal shelter. We should be promoting adopt, not shop. Buying more from breeders and not from the animal shelters isn't giving all the animals the love that they should deserve. Animals from shelters still need the love that they get from if you bought it from a breeder, no matter what really is going on. Not all animals from the shelter are bad animals. Some animals are just shown that way because that's how they were raised. But if you get them from the shelter, you can try to regain and show them how to love. But if you buy them from a breeder, most breeders have like this way of how they breed and how they treat their animals, so their animals will be more aggressive or more kind. It depends who you're getting that dog from. So buying from the shelter, you'll see exactly what they are right then and there if they are full grown. Breeders are just doing most of this for the money. They aren't really caring for their animals' health. Buying from a breeder, there's this thing called, and the buyer beware states that backyard yard breeder come off more friendly, but do that so they can get more money out of it. So backyard breeders are exactly what it sounds like, just someone breeding out of their house and selling it on Facebook Marketplace for a higher cost because they know if they're kinder and come off more kind, then there's more of a chance that they can boost up the cost so they can get more money. Also, buyer beware states and alerts on puppy/cat mill, which is a big breeding facility that mass produces. They are mass producing, so they're breeding all these animals that don't necessarily need to be breeded to give to more higher animal places. Like we could go Petco, for example, or PetSmart, whichever one has the dogs. They give to those places to push off onto other people so they get more money off of it. But they're only there for the money and not for the health that they're putting these animals in. Some of these animals have gotten diseases, sick, even caused some death due to these breeders not caring about how their animal state is and just want the money out of it. And they also have, if they produce too much, like in the puppy/cat mills, they'll just throw all of them in a kennel until someone comes and gets them, and it can cause some bad anger towards the animals, and then they're gonna be angry later on. And also during severe like weather, the animals are not protected, so they don't care about their protection. Another one is population is not okay. Overpopulation in the animal shelters is way out of what it should be right now. The dogs are most common to be overpopulated in the shelters. This is because dogs get loose, yes, and people drop dogs off after one tiny thing happens. Say they bark. Some people don't like that, so they just drop them off at the shelter and leave them there, or even drop them off on the side of the road so the shelters have to come take them in. Becoming more crowded due to people just dropping off the pets and the age. Some people don't like older dogs. For example, I have an older dog, but I would never get rid of her because I love her and I could never put her through the pain that some of those dogs feel. Like they feel abandoned. They shouldn't feel abandoned because you decided you didn't want that age anymore, or because you can't take care of it because you thought you could and then you chose not to. And some people just get a pet, and then once that pet gets older and isn't picture worthy, they just drop it off at the shelter and get a new one. Quoted by Turner, an estimate of 6 to 8 million dogs and cats enter shelter each year. This doesn't even include animals pushed to the shelter by owner, such as reasons being infirmity, behavior, and old age. This number should not be high unless you are physically incapable due to mental and physical state that you are in. No animal should have to suffer because you just wanted a picture-worthy dog. However, every animal deserves love no matter where they came from, even if from a breeder. They still deserve the love that you would give from an animal from the shelter. Eldridge states that when buying from the breeder, you know exactly what type of fur, and the height that you'll be getting, like the length, and also the behavior. So back to when I was talking about the behavior, if you buy from a breeder, you'll know the behavior because that breeder is breeding from their dog mostly. So if that dog is aggressive, it's most likely their puppies will be aggressive. And breeders, if you buy from a breeder, they could be useful in some cases because they'll be exactly what you're looking for. Say you need a smaller dog and the animal shelter doesn't have a smaller dog at that time, you could get it from the breeder and could help keep underpopulation down more, hopefully. But they'll also be useful from buying from a breeder because you could get a service dog out of it. Some people get their service dogs from breeders because they're puppies and you can get them from puppies at that time, and it's easier to train the puppies more than it is from a dog from an animal shelter. Although breeding may be useful, it still has warning signs. Some dogs are not meant to be bred, and these breeders are breeding dogs that are not meant to be bred. A specific animal is being a pug. Pugs should not be bred whatsoever, and there's even more. A wiener dog should not be bred as well because their back muscles, they arch so much that it's like hurting them in a way that they should not be physically able to. But a source that talks about this, about pug breeding, is 5 Reasons. It talks about how when pugs are bred, it is bad because their nose is so scrunched up. I feel like you've all seen a pug, so their nose is really scrunched up and it's hard to breathe due to their noseways being plugged, and their eyes are too big for their face. Even though, yes, some of them may be cute, their eyes are way too big for their face and they are so hard to breathe due to them not being bred with what they're supposed to be bred with. In conclusion, with all this being said, people need to be more aware of where they're buying it from and who they're buying it from. Buying from a shelter should be more common and known. We should be caring for the shelter animals more than breeder animals. My sister actually bought a pit bull from the shelter down in Arizona. She bought a pit bull and his name was Rocky. She bought this pit bull and he was all skin and bones from the shelter and really sad and on the verge of getting killed due to him being there so long. Yes, he is a slightly older dog, but no one wanted him because of his breed, which is a pit bull. She didn't care. We grew up with a pit bull. She didn't care. And this dog showed no signs of aggression, so that's what she loved. And this dog is thriving now. He's got these big muscles on him. He's a muscular dog. He and he is the sweetest dog you will ever meet. And he's from a shelter, which is crazy. But all ages and types of dogs deserve love and another chance. They shouldn't have to suffer because you wanted to buy a new dog every week just to keep it interesting. You shouldn't just keep buying dogs like this. Like, if you're adopting or you're fostering an animal, I understand, because you're also helping out the animal shelter by fostering these animals until they can get the chance to get a home. But buying from a shelter also, some of those animals are potty trained from the shelter because they've lived in homes sometimes. So they know some house rules and they understand to a point of what they should and shouldn't be doing. But thank you guys so much for watching.